Want to go on vacation and not pay us for the work? Won't be home for a few days after informing us? Sure. My grandpa is on my do not ever fuck with list. In any way. Short list. Taught Shotokan overseas in Korea. One of the highest ranked black belts outside of Japan. I have seen security footage of some of his bar fights. It's legit. Was a personal bodyguard during the 70s for some governors in our state. Worked construction for decades, one of two master carpenters in my state, which leads to this story. During summers, I would work with Gramp doing a lot of his manual monkey labor, shingles up to the roof, mix concrete, sand floors, keep everything tidy, etc. He'd been screwed over the years as many general and subcontractors are, and as the years went by his contracts for work go more and more specific, EA payments on a certain schedule, new/unexpected cost and how they're dealt with, etc. One particular job started out pretty normal. He's hired to build a new deck with a new patio/driveway patio for this guy, let's call him Shitbrain. New construction, newer house, easy job. Gramps had even done work for him in the past, no problems. Deck is to be partly covered, 10 by 50 on the front of the house, 4 feet up with concrete stairs. Brand new door. Brand new picture window, 4 by 8. Driveway is to be stained, freshly poured between the new deck and garage Grandpa built a few years ago. Guy was even going on vacation for a few weeks. We can get the job done in those 3 weeks if we bust it. Guy pays 50% of the estimated cost up front, and was to pay the remaining 50% over the agreed time. Now, this first payment covered all material for the original estimate, and paid us basically minimum wage for the hours we'd put in. The next few installments would cover the subcontractor for pouring the driveway, and the remaining hourly wages. Weekend one passed, no agreed payment. Guy's on vacation, maybe he forgot to set up auto pay. Whatever. Send him pictures on AOL email. The original concrete stairs had been removed, new door was in place. Deck was framed out. But we didn't hear from Shitbrain. Weekend 2 passed, shit, no pay yet but work needs to be done. Concrete guys are here for the new slab and stairs, let's get it done so we can move on to new jobs. Subcontractor is a long-time family friend and distant relative, call him Timmy, does us a favor and pours/stains on an IOU. Send more pictures on AOL. No response from Shitbrain. Week 3. We've finished our work 2 days early. Subcontractor has finished their work. It looks amazing, up there on a nice hill. But we haven't been paid for this work. Gramp finally gets Shitbrain on the phone. Gramp, hey Shitbrain, how's was vacation? Blah blah blah. Skip forward 3 to 5 minutes. Gramps is a talker, and lived in the vacation state for a few years. Great, glad you had a great time while I was busted it here. Holy hell, it's been hot. What did you think of the work? Shitbrain, oh it looks great. We'll be home later day after tomorrow. We're having a get together with XYZ. Gramp, well glad you're going to enjoy it. Oh hey, seems like your bank didn't pay us on the schedule agreement. Shitbrain, so? Gramp, excuse me? Shitbrain, so what? I'm not paying you the rest of the money. Work's done. Tough luck you old fucker. Gramp, I understand. Click. Gramp, well up, let's get to work. Oh, and get Timmy on the phone. Shitbrain had that large garage Gramp had built years ago, and the guy let us use to store equipment while they were out. First, the brand new door was removed and placed in the garage. Then, each piece of the brand new deck was removed and placed into the garage. Sadly, the posts were 36 inches deep, but hey, a 4x4 truck pulled those out of the ground nice and good after a bit of shoveling. Those were also placed into the garage. Window was also removed from the frame, and placed on top of this pile. Deconstruction is much faster than construction after all. Timmy was rather unhappy as well about not getting paid. But hey, we found out that the new stairs we poured moved well enough across the new driveway/patio. And some bleach took care of the stain we put onto the patio. Sadly, it had a few chips in it from all the ruckus, and someone made the time to take a diamond saw and cut all the way through the seams. Sadly, it'll now settle at an uneven rate. But all the material Shitbrain paid for, he got to keep. We even went into the garage in the evening and made sure his front door was locked. You know, for security. Even the few tools we needed for the job which Shitbrain paid for, stayed in the garage. Fast forward 2 days, Shitbrain comes home and throws a shitstorm. It had stormed, and his AC had been running non-stop with the increase of draft into the front of the house. Of course he threatens Gramps with a lawsuit and the police, which just makes Gramp laugh. A close relative was the assistant chief of police in our small town, unbeknownst to Shitbrain. We did everything we were contractually obligated and paid to do. All the equipment, all the materials were in Shitbrain's possession. That is, after all, what he paid us for. Shitbrain blustered a lot, but it did fuck all. Fast forward a bit. No one in the local union will deal with the guy. Gramps and Timmy are both pretty well respected and do a lot of great work around town. Someone from out of town ends up fixing the issues, and does a shit job of it. Darn. TLDR, if you want to fuck over the general contractor, do it after you get home, and string it out. Don't fuck them over before you're home from vacation. GCs and SCs generally have to move quickly to the next job if they want to make dollar, and the vast majority of the time won't have the funds or time to try and collect. We have no idea why Shitbrain tried to pull that shit, but since Shitbrain had paid us well and on time for the garage job, Gramp ignored the inner voice. Edit 1, for the questions/comments about liens, solo contractors or subcontractors generally don't have the time or financial ability to do this. You're paid for the job you're working on. If you delay another job or delay getting someone new an estimate, you delay your pay and delay your business. It's cheaper to cut your losses and move on to the next paying customer, than it is to try and collect. Edit for the edit, I was also about 16 to 17 when this happened, mid-30s now. So, I had no clue how or what liens even were. I got hosed by a contractor years ago. Wanted plans for a remodel project based off some photos and hand sketches. It was about $1,500 in work, which was a lot at the time. I delivered the first draft and waited for the revisions. And waited. And waited. 3 weeks went by, so I sent him a bill. He called and said he didn't get the job, so wouldn't be paying. Whoa, we didn't have an agreement of me getting paid if he gets paid. I get paid for my time regardless and never work on a bid arrangement. He still refused, so I told him to take a hike. Also let some other freelance CAD guys know about him. 6 months later he calls, all buddy like with me. Has a big project with a tight deadline and knows I'm the man for it. I gave him a bid that was high, tacked $1,500 onto it and told him I wanted it all up front. He didn't like that and wanted to know why the price was so high and payment up front. So I explained it to him, as he seemed to be suffering from selective amnesia. The guy starts begging me to do it, says he can't find anyone else who will take it on. Apparently he'd managed to stiff all the good operators in the area, so he worked his way back to me. I told him I'd be more than happy to take on any project he had once the $1,500 was paid, and all projects would be paid up front. Never heard from him again. He didn't get that project, either. His wife actually owned their business and couldn't figure out why nobody was willing to work with them. She got an earful once she started calling around asking for help. The guys had screwed other subs too. Should have told him sure you'd do it for $1,500 up front and the balance on delivery, with that delivery being just a day or two before his own deadline. Take the down payment and forget about the job. Then when he called back frantic, tell him thanks for finally making good on that last job you did for him, but unfortunately he didn't make the winning bid on your time for this one. My mom who always told me be careful how you act, because the toes you step on today might be connected to the ass you have to kiss tomorrow. I love your mama. I was really hoping the black belt would come into play. A black eye lasts a couple weeks but a poorly built deck lasts months. That's another tale, but more petty. Drunk tried robbing Gramps' karate store. Would-be robber threatened to stick the knife he managed to get a hold of up Gramps' ass, 4 inches slender switchblade. Well, it was shoved up to ass cheeks. Not getting paid for your work, so you do extra work to make sure they get fucked over. Some call it petty. Some call it stupid. Me? I call it beautiful. It's so glorious. I often hope that happens to me on Let Go or one of those apps. Depending on the item, it would be worth it to me to break the item in front of them just to see the look of shock on their face. A small petty revenge where I pay a little bit more to make them feel exponentially worse.